Hey guys, King of Triumphs here, Tivio Judge, your journey analyst, and today I bring to you practice battles for the Evolution Cup. Thanks to X Factor and T Wagger for these battles. They're really good. X Factor has played this game for a very long time like I have, and he's a beast, so yes, thank you so much for those two for the practice battles, and hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea of how Evolution Cup works. It's kind of, yeah, it's not that bad actually. There's a lot of ways you can play on a Switch, and it's definitely not as terrible as Ultra Premier or Master Premier. I'm telling you right now, this thank God, thank Arceus Great League is back. But before we get started into these practice battles, this is gonna be my therapist mental health tip of the day. It's actually gonna be a really quick one today. Make sure y'all drink water. Fun fact: if you don't drink water, and you can look up the articles on this, but if you are thirsty, and a lot of you are thirsty for something other than water, I won't say it there, but just to be funny, but if you don't have enough water in your body, you're going to, basically what happens is that you get symptoms of anxiety and depression. So you can feel like you basically feel like you're dying in a sense. So yes, make sure y'all drink plenty of water, make sure y'all stay hydrated, especially during the summer months. Winter is not that bad, but with global warming nowadays, it's always nice to stay hydrated. So yeah, make sure y'all drink plenty of water. But without further ado, this is going to be my practice battles for the Evolution Cup. Thank you for my training partners again, and without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here are the battles. Thank you to X Factor and T Wagger again for these. I didn't get to record all of them. I tried to put all of them into one, but it was a lot, so then, yeah. But we got Sealeo on a Haunter. Haunter's a really good pick for this cup because of the fact that it doesn't really wall Viggy, but it can take a lot of body slams. And it can actually farm down your Viggy, which is actually kind of bad. I switch into my Dragonair here because you don't want Dragon, and as you see, Dragonair is going to do a ton of damage with Dragon Breaths. Aqua Tail charges really slowly here. This is why Viggy is so dang good in this cup, because of the body slam pressure. Viggy might be able to actually farm me down here, and it is, and this thing has loaded on energy. What I should have done, I did a misplay here. I should have body slammed when it came in instead of doing this here, but I should have done that, but oddly, for some reason, it didn't go off, and I think that's lag. You know what's funny? We can't even practice without things going wrong, because X Factor definitely had a move there, and this is pretty much GG's. If I didn't make that mistake, like I said, he would have won because he had a loaded Viggy. Viggy would have just blasted me to death. And then what happens here is that my mistake that I made, were what I should have done, which is definitely go for the body slam before switching in, would have cost me. But because of that, I'm able to, because of that little kick up here, we just play out the rest of the battle, and then I'm able to beat X. Where you're gonna see a good glimpse of how much body slam does. Body slam, even though it's resisted, because Haunter is so squishy, it does a good chunk of damage. As you see, body slam goes off, and that's a lot. It does like 20% of its HP, which doesn't seem like much, but it adds up over time. Sludge Bomb is incredibly dangerous. It will kill your Vigor at that healthy ranges, and like I mentioned before, this is GG's. But X Factor would have won this, and look, it even ports me back up to the freaking. It doesn't even let me see the victory screen. It just ports us back to the regular screen. That's how. You can't even practice without anything going wrong right now. But yeah, that's GG's. X Factor definitely had that one. I would have, like I mentioned, I would have won if I did a body slam, but I didn't do it. So because the game didn't work, it gave me a win condition. And sadly, that's just the way it happens. That's why I'm just really like, you know what? That's why even though my ELO is kind of like, I don't really care what ELO I'm at right now, because I've lost so many 5-0s, 4-1s, or positive sets to just lag or like just the game not working in general. So yeah, I'm good. But as you see here, I got Hakamo versus Magneton. I have a single mood Haka, but I recently just double moved it because I got enough rare candy. I decided to just double move it because you'll see how much having a double move Haka will affect my battle later on here with T Wagger. I'm gonna fire these Dragon Claws. as you see here, he's got X-Factor is going to shield anyways, and that Magnet Bomb did a lot of damage. Mind you, Shadow Magneton's a very spicy pick for here. You just got to watch out for those Viggies, but Magnet Bombs do a lot. Now, here's why Viggy is dangerous, because as you see here, those counters are chunking. Now we got Haunter on Haunter action. X-Factor fires. I think what had happened here, he should have just farmed me down. He takes a shield, but as you see here, I come out with that advantage instead of the simultaneous KO. It wouldn't have mattered anyways, though, because of the fact that my Viggy still has a lot of HP. I still have one shield left anyways, so it would have likely been game. This is what I mean by Viggy farming you down. Now, even though it's triple fighting is triple resisted, as you see there, X-Factor gets a ton of energy. However, because he lets me fire first here, this is how you can kind of finesse the Viggy matchup. If you fire first before your opponent, like over here, X-Factor would have won this had he fired right away. But because I'm able to get 2 extra counters here, because of the timing, I'm able to come out with a win condition. All I have to do is make sure I get to enough counters. I make sure I do enough counter damage and then get to a body slam. And this should kill at this range. But like I mentioned here, that's kind of a way you can finish the mirror match. Have them, if they fire before your opponent, get those extra ones in. And as you see here, you could come out with that sweet win condition at the end. So make sure you're really careful in the Viggy mirror. Next, we got Machoke, Shiny Machoke into my Shadow Golbat. Shadow Golbat is a top 5 lead in this cup. And Machoke is also incredibly dangerous because it trucks through everything that's not a flyer for the most part. Just because Karate Chop and Cross Chop do a lot of damage. You could even have one that's purified and do return. So a return version, which will it'll hit really hard against if it's not shield. Just because Machoke is a very bulky mon. And now I pretty much just RPS X-Factor at this point. As you see, we got the Golbat onto that Machoke. I got Sealeo onto this Shelgon, and then it's pretty much game. Even though X-Factor wins switch here, you're going to see that Golbat is golden. It really is. With Poison Fang damage, you can possibly go through a lot of things, and that's a Marsh Stomp. So Marsh Stomp is also eligible for this cup, and it's actually really good. It has a lot of pressure. It has Mud Bomb and Surf, but I'm able to catch. Wow, I forgot I finessed the crap out of X-Factor in this matchup. But this is really just rock, paper, scissors. It doesn't matter if I did this or not, because all that happens is that Machoke is going to get lined up against Golbat, and I resist those mud shots from Marsh Stomp. So this was pretty much an RPS matchup. As you see here, even though Machoke is able to get a ton of energy here, Body Slams still do a ton of damage. You can have return, and return will hit for big damage if you get the closer. But as you see here, Machoke is so squishy, one Body Slam will do like 30% of your damage. I don't have to shield anything at this point. I'm just going to win with 2 shields. Actually, no, I'm going to shield this one because I'm like, I don't know what moves Machoke has. I know it has submission. I don't know. It's not purified, but I forgot that moment. It's Machamp that has Stone Edge or Rock Slide, not the other way around. So yes, Machoke is a really interesting pick because returning through shields does a big amount of damage. I got Zweilous onto Magneton. Zweilous does I actually didn't need a switch, but as you see here, this is a good feature on Viggy versus Shadow Golbat. Body Slams, as you see there, do like 40% of its HP. You don't have to shield Poison Fangs, but mind you, this thing wins CMP, so one Poison Fang, as you saw there, did a ton of damage. I actually didn't need to swap out of Zweilous. Zweilous resists those. It resists the Thunder Shocks. Magnet Bomb would do big damage, but as a Shadow, it takes a ton of damage from Dragon Breath, even though it's resisted. I'm going to let this thing go. Just let Viggy go. And as you see, even though Viggy's dead, it still takes a shield and does a ton of damage. And I have a Golbat versus Piloswine. Piloswine is the most powerful closer in this cup just because of damage-wise. Sealeo can give you a problem, but outside of Sealeo, this thing, Avalanche plus Big Bacon, I call it Big Bacon, not Mammal Bacon, but Big Bacon does a lot of damage. And with one Avalanche, even on a Shadow Magneton, this thing does work. It puts you in the red, even though it's resistant. Like, that is so unfair. And when we got an Ivysaur, and this is pretty much game, unfortunately. The thing is, even with Ivysaur's Fine Whips are resisted. Yeah, you have return, but I also have 2 shields. So it's just really rough. I could even choose to let Zweilous go at this point. and then have Piloswine farm down. Return goes through. It's still not enough to KO his Wireless. And all we're going to do is just Dragon Breath down for the victory. Or, yeah. Then that's game. But yeah, Ivysaur it's an interesting pick just because it loses against the dragons, but that return does big damage. So Ivysaur is also a notable, it's also a spicy pick in this cup. Alright, so for the final teams, my ABB one, we have Viggy with Dragonair and Hakamo in the back. And yeah, we got Graveler is actually a top lead as well as a closer for this cup. One Stone Edge can take out a Viggy. As you see, I fall for the Rock Black bait here. I try to fire Body Slam, but I fire off interval. I make a huge mistake here because now X Factor is going to get a ton of Volt Switches. So now X Factor has enough energy to fire base a Stone Edge or a Rock Blast, and what Stone Edge is going to do big damage here. I elect not to shield here, but that's a huge mistake because guess what's coming out of the ground? Stone Edge! And yes, Stone Edge will take out a Viggy in the closer. So with extra energy, you're in a lot of danger. X Factor switches in a Haunter here. I'm going to go ahead and let this go. This is likely just going to be a Shadow Punch. Hakamo can take one, even though it's really squishy, and I should just be able to Dragon Tail down. So now I have almost two Dragon Claws worth of energy. I can have one for the Viggy and one for the Alolan Graveler. I'm going to counter this with a shield advantage, and this is basically game. As you see, dragons are incredibly powerful for this cup, so they're just, even with Sealeo, Brick Break will do, like, yeah, even with Sealeo, the problem is Sealeo doesn't have Icicle Spear, access to Icicle Spear like Walrein does, so, well, Body Slam will do neutral damage, and dragons are going to do a ton of chip. So you might see a Florges or whatever, but Florges is super squishy, so I have a shield, and that's game, so... And then this is going to be the battle with T. Wagner. That's going to be the reason why I definitely lead Brick Break. So, as ABB, this seems really strong just because, like I mentioned, with the Dragon Breath damage. And then Viggy can farm down and then close out with Body Slams and Bulldoze possibly. We got Ivysaur and a Viggy. This is actually a terrible lead for you. Because body Slams do... You're able to Body Slam pressure, however, your counters are resisted. So Body Slam pressure goes through, and Ivysaur is going to take... Ivysaur is basically going to Power Whip us to death. So you're able to get to Body Slams, however, these Power Whips will do heavy damage against you. So even though I have to shield one, but I should be able to live the second one, so I'm going to try to go shield for shield against T. Wagner here. Viggy, Body Slam pressure. It's literally Body Slams for days. This is like, oh my, this is like, if you, I make WWE references all the time, this is like WWE. And as you see, I make this really sweet catch on a Dragonair. And it's, I'm like, yay. But then we get as Wireless, so that's terrible. Like I mentioned, the Dragon Breath users do a ton of damage in this cup. Wireless being one of them, along with Dragon Tails from Hakamo, and of course Dragonair. So all I'm going to do here is I still have a shield. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send in Viggy and attempt to Body Slam down. So I'm going to Body Slam the holy crap out of this poor. I'm going to farm this down and then Body Slam the back row. Go down the Dark Pulse here. Dark Pulse would have KO'd me had I not shield if it was a Body Slam. And it would have, I basically would have been done. So even up a shield. And then we have Ivysaur coming back. I'm going to Body Slam this Ivysaur. If they shield, I can tell they don't like my Viggy in the back. And sure, they shield, so that I'm going to send in Haka. I don't have any shields left. As you see, I'm catching like a madman right now, but that's a Sludge Bomb, and that hurts a lot. And there's a Linoon. So I actually, fun fact, had I had Brick Break, I actually would have won this match. So Brick Break would have done double super effective and I get stabbed. So that literally would have nearly killed this Linoon, or I would have been able to farm it down to where Vigoroth can Body Slam Ivysaur in the back. So I won this. I lost this because I didn't have Brick Break. So this one matchup is where Brick Break matters, because as you see, Linoon wins CMP, and that's GG's. Thank you so much to T-Wag and X-Fact for the battles. I hope this gave you some ideas of what to run for the Evolution Cup. And that's game. I hope y'all enjoyed the battles. Thank you, my training partners, again. Thank you for the practice, and it gave me a little... This meta is actually really good, like I mentioned. I hope this does help you out to see what you want to run for this cup. As you see, Viggy's just incredibly powerful. Body Slam, you're going to see Body Slams fly everywhere in this cup. Nothing outright resists Body Slam outside of Alolan Sandshrew. The problem with using Alolan Sandshrew is that you are double weak to fighting, so... yeah, counters are going to add up a lot, and that's why Vigoroth is so solid. I would say the one thing that probably gives it a very hard time is probably going to be Haunter, just because Haunter's Sludge Bombs will do a ton of damage like you see here. I just never elite. I didn't TM them to their moves that they're supposed to have, and they had minimum effect in this battle outside of my Hakamo not having Brick Break, which would have helped me win that last battle with T-Wagger, because Brick Break is double super effective and you get the same type attack bonus, so you do get stacked. Oh, with that being said, I hope y'all are excited for Great League to come back, because I'm so excited for Great League to come back. I hate Ultra Masters have just been absolutely terrible to me, so yeah. Thank God Great League is back. But I hope y'all are, yeah, there's still plenty of time left. There's literally 50 days left in the season. You got a whole month some change and one whole Go Battle Day. You have a long time before we move on to the next season. So buckle up your seats. You still have plenty of chance to make Legend. And yeah, that's why I don't stress about these things nowadays. I always say it all the time. If I as much as sniff the leaderboard, I will tank on purpose because I refuse to sit in queues. So, and 3 months is a very long time. So don't stress about Legend. It's just going to be another pose that's going to come right back again. And it's going to be the same never-ending cycle until Niantic actually decides to overhaul the system or add it to where Pokemon Go PvP is actually really competitive. And there's a lot of intricate strategies because this RPS BS ain't it. Without further ado, little feelers that please do me a huge favor. Please like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. I really do appreciate y'all to do that. I also stream on Twitch Fridays through Sundays, Saturdays, Sundays. Unless something comes up, then I won't stream for that day. But without further ado, good luck on your Go Battle sets, and I will see y'all on the next video.
That I made, all the things that I have craved, these are what I could have saved.